Should I have a nicer background?
No, you're fine. I love how real this is. You know, I was thinking, Kim, it was like, what would I want other people to know about you that have not had the pleasure of meeting you yet? And for me, it came down to this. If I accidentally murdered someone, like you'd be one of the few people that I would actually want to tell. Like if I had to unburden that. And I think you would embrace me and understand there must have been a reason that she did this. Not that you would say that that action is okay, but you would embrace me first and then maybe you would help me do the right thing. But I would be able to share something that horrible with you. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jen if you're new here, and in this video series, my mission is to help you live with an attitude of gratitude, which is why I spelled this video series with 2 T's, so that no matter the situation you're in, whatever life circumstance is happening around you, you can always choose a reason to be joyful. And in this video series, I'm lucky enough to invite some of my closest friends and family to join me, and we just like to sit together, you know, just kind of talk about what we appreciate about our relationship, about one another. This is a space for us to really just walk down memory lane together. And I don't know about you, but I always feel like we don't tell our loved ones specifically what we love about them often enough. And that's something that I'm hoping to do more of in my life. And to wrap up the video towards the end, we're going to be journaling together where we share some things that we're grateful for. So I have my second virtual guest. This is Kim Lee. Kim, do you ever go by Kimberly?
Yes.
You do?
James. He's the only one.
James is your husband.
In addition to my mom. Yeah, James, my husband.
I was like, what's it like to
shout my name really loud? Like in Target, or he's looking for me. He goes, Kimberly! Sorry.
Okay, that is so fun. Okay, so Kim has 3 kids and they're just so fun and adorable. And I think your second, Amaris, I heard her go, Kimberly! Like when I was at your house the other day.
That's because it's James. He likes to call my name really loud as if he's angry. And it scares people.
What I was going to say was, what's it like to have 2 Asian last names built into your first and last name?
Oh my. Did I ever tell you when I worked at CVS, I had
a
name
CVS?
tag that said, yes, that was my second job ever. I was like in high school. But I had a name tag that said Kim. And so all these Korean older people would come up to me and be like, they would just start speaking to me in Korean. I should be like, I don't speak Korean. They would be like, Kim. And I'm like, that's my name. So yeah.
You're Chinese and James, your husband, is Korean.
Right.
But your first name is Korean and the last name, I guess, could be Korean or Chinese, Lee.
Yeah, Lee can go either way. But it's even more like, you know, when they see James come in and they start seeing that he's Korean, they're like, well, then you lied that you're not really Korean because your husband's Korean.
Kim, would you like to share how long we've known each other?
Okay. So I got your template and I was like, how do I figure this out? I went to my Gmail. Did you do that? I went to my Gmail and I searched your email to see how far back it went. And it went to 2019 when we were in small group together.
2019 is this year.
I mean, 2009, which was 10 years ago.
I have a different math on that.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
In actuality, it's like, I think closer to 12.
That makes sense. Because small group was not at the beginning of our friendship, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And Kim, how do we meet each other?
I don't even know.
You know, I know the exact moment I had my first interaction with you.
Jen, this is like, okay, no joke. After I had kids, my brain has gone to crap. And this is no offense to anybody.
None taken.
None of my friends are, I don't even remember me and James's first interaction, to be honest with you. That's really sad.
But okay, so
I'm so interested now.
I know. I was just going to say, I don't even know if you would remember this, Kim, but it was like so distinct to me for reasons I'll explain. But I was wondering, like, when I was thinking about you all day yesterday in preparation for this video, like, I wonder if Kim even remembers this, because you and I didn't even have a proper introduction that day. But it was like winter of 2007. And
Okay.
I know it's so specific, right? Winter of 2007, I went to a revival at the church that we ended up together.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And I was sitting in between two of my guy friends. I don't know if you knew one of
Okay.
them, but I know for sure you knew the other one. And I remember we're waiting for the revival to start. And for those of you guys that are not familiar with what that is, it's kind of like a praise night. And it usually involves like a
Yeah.
guest speaker coming to the church. And it's like a couple hour thing. And I remember waiting for the revival to start. And there was a girl in front of me, which was you. You were sitting a row in front of me. And you turned around. I think you turned around to say hi to our friend on the left. And then you saw me, but like we'd never met each other. And then you were like, oh my God, you look like this girl that I know. And you said her name. And then like you turned back around. And then like a few seconds later, you turned back around. You're like, oh, and she's really pretty. You turned back around. Do you remember this at all? And I was like, oh, okay. You know?
Oh gosh,
like
I started
like,
off just like inappropriate. Yeah.
No, but this is so funny when I think about you, Kim, because one of the things that I love about you that I want to get more into later is your just kind of like, I wouldn't say it's Tourette's, but it's like you kind of like have like outbursts of like this lovable, endearing dorkiness. Is this making
Tourette's?
Like there's nobody, this is so unique to you. I want you to know this and I want you to own this. And I feel like there were so many memories of that between us. And I feel like those have been part of like the building blocks of our friendship and that I just appreciate about you so much. So the crazy thing was you said that, and I only remember this because the girl that you mentioned, she has a very unique name. And then months later, I started dating someone. And I found out like after the fact that he had dated that girl that you said I looked like her. Do you remember this now? And then it was so crazy. I'm like, why do I know that name? And like, oh my gosh. And then you and I became friends.
I came into your head. Did I come into your head like after?
Yes,
you like
because
oh my gosh,
you did. Because I remember I was with him and I was like, wait, that's your ex-girlfriend? Like someone just told me that I look like her. And I remember having this conversation. No. Yeah. Like I wasn't offended or anything. I just thought like how crazy that I wasn't even with him when you said that.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not telling you any of this to make you feel bad. I just think it was so funny and interesting the way that it started out. After we got to know each other a little bit better, you ended up becoming my small group leader. And that was the first group, Kim, where I felt like at home at a group. And you were so monumental in that. Like you created such an amazing environment. And a lot of the girls that like I ended up like staying friends with, like they all happened in that group that you led.
That's so nice of you to say. I feel like looking back, I didn't really have a right to lead that group. More so it was just a group that formed, you know, like just... It was nice to see the friendships that formed out of that group. But like looking back at where I am now to like how I was then, I don't think I was equipped to lead that group.
I disagree.
But there was good that came out of it.
You know, Kim, I think I remember you saying this back then too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I remember thinking there could be no one better to lead this group because I feel like you embody this like leaders eat last kind of thing where like you would come and you would serve all of us and then you would be the one to like eat the scraps last and then people would come in and they would be confused about like who the leader is. But like I'm learning that that's what a true leader is. It's not the person that's like on this like podium that's like telling everyone what to do. You have to have it all figured out and like set the path out for everyone. But no, it's like the person where I could call you at, you know, a reasonable time of the day and like let you know what I'm going through. And like you've just always been so supportive and just been such a shoulder. And the warmth that you brought and you even being very open about like, guys, I don't know what I'm doing. I remember one meeting, Kim, where you brought in maybe not a boombox, but that was like back in the day, so maybe it was a boombox. But I remember you like playing some kind of music and you're like, oh, I thought I could play this and maybe we could just sit around and like just pray and see what comes up. And I remember you're like, yeah, I've never done this before. And like you came at it so honestly. And I just thought like, wow, I love her. Like it made me feel like I can just, like sigh of relief and just come as I am and just do what I need to do here. And that was the environment that you fostered for all of us. And like, it's still so crystal clear in my mind.
You're going to make me cry. I don't know how to receive things, but thank you.
Well, this is your practice. Oh my gosh, this is great. Because that's something I struggle with too.
Can I talk about you?
Yeah.
So the one thing that I appreciate about you is the way that you make people feel when you talk to them. So like, my memory sucks, but I do know that I like talking to you because I feel like I'm $1 million when I talk to you. And like, there's something in your eyes. It's like, it's not the makeup. It's not your Dr. Fixer-Upper mascara that I use to primer.
So specific. I love it.
It's the fact that your eyes, when I talk to you, it's like they light up, and because they're excited about my life. And it's like honestly, no one else I can talk to will give me that feeling of like you giving me that affirmation of like when I talk to you, I feel like your eyes are saying, "You're the best, Kim. You rock, Kim. I love you, Kim." And like I just want to keep telling you everything to like give me that affirmation that I need to like, encourage me. And like whatever I tell you, you encourage like my walk of whatever phase I'm going through in life. And whether it's problems, good or bad, like you find like such good words, like such encouraging words to say to me. And I think that's why like you're in the perfect spot right now, because you're helping other people. And I don't think you realize how encouraging you are. Like I wrote down, you encourage so much that I worry about you. So like, I don't know, maybe it's like because I'm a mom now, like I worry that you're getting the affirmation for yourself because you're emptying your bucket out so much, and you're feeding people so much with what you can do for them. Like, are you getting enough for yourself? That's what I wrote.
You're gonna make me cry.
Yeah, like you have genuine interest in me, and you probably do that to everybody, but like
not everybody.
You're like a gem. You're such a gem to me.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Well, Kim, here's the thing too. I've noticed how you and I kind of share it's hard to receive. And I think sometimes it's like most obvious when it comes to this, when like I buy something online or I have some kind of skincare and I just really want to gift it to you, but like you won't give me your address. And I feel like that's something that I've started to kind of surrender from myself too. And I had this conversation with a friend. She and I were talking about how, just like when you breathe, you have to inhale and you have to exhale, and you can't just keep exhaling, right? So it's like when as much as you give other people, you have to be as open to receive, because then that completes the cycle of the giving. And this video series has been such an exercise for me to just sit still, and when my friend wants to love on me, to be able to accept that. And I love that you said, this is something I need to work on. And I'm like, yes, we're going to do this together. And I'm going to tell you all the things I think about you, and you're not going to reject me.
Like, I'm terrible with eye contact, but I feel like your eyes have like strings, like magnets, like, no, really. And then like,
are you really?
I'm terrible with eye contact. I guess it's like, because I feel, maybe it's like part Asian culture, but also part like, I just feel like embarrassed to, I don't know. But even when I feel like I'm talking to you and I feel like I try to look away, I feel like your eyes are like, they stay. And they're always like grabbing me back. Yes. Actually, you and Brandon are both really good at eye contact. Like, it makes me go like...
I was thinking, Kim, it was like, what would I want other people to know about you that have not had the pleasure of meeting you yet? And for me, it came down to this. And maybe this isn't even funny to joke about, but like if I accidentally murdered someone, like you'd be one of the few people that I would actually want to tell, like if I had to unburden that. And I think you would embrace me and understand there must have been a reason that she did this. not that you would say that that action is okay, but you would embrace me first and then maybe you would help me do the right thing. But I would be able to share something that horrible with you. I think when I think of it like that, it really encapsulates how much you mean to me. Oh my gosh. Happening.
I have tissue paper here. Do you want some toilet paper? Oh, Jenn.
Oh, damn it. It's okay. I knew this was gonna happen sometime.
Oh gosh.
Actually, I think we didn't even share the fact that like you live so far from me. We've been apart for a really long time.
Yeah.
'Cause you're in New York.
Yeah.
And I haven't, oh man, and like the last 2 times I was in New York, I saw you for like, it felt like 2 hours each time, right?
Yeah. It was never enough, but you made time. You made time to come and visit us. I mean, that's the amazing part I think about our friendship is that it truly is one of those friendships where we don't have to talk every day or be within a bus ride to like just come back and be like, God.
Right? It's like, okay, we have 2 hours. We got to do as much as we
can. Diarrhea out of our mouth as much as we can right now. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. You know, I found your email of when you first started blogging and you were telling your friends about, I started a blog and this was the best way to keep in touch in Korea. I have it.
Wait,
and I was like, oh my god.
Vlog or blog? Because I did
I think
Tumblr at some point or something.
Yes, it was a blog. Yeah.
Wow, that was before I met Brandon. Oh no, what did I say?
Yeah. I remember when you met Brandon too. Oh, and one of my favorite memories was when you sent me a postcard from Korea. And on the postcard was a picture of your teenage model self. And then I went to Barnes & Noble and I found you on the cover of the book that you told me you were on. And I was like, this is Jenn. And James was like, what the heck?
To add to that memory, I remember the postcard that I sent you. And on that postcard, it was a picture of me like laughing into my mouth, like a shy. And then it was like, do you have gas or something like that? And it was someone, actually the guy that I dated, he found me on like a pregnancy website. And it was like, here are the symptoms of like a pregnant woman. It's like, are you gassy? And they used my photo and I was like 14 in that picture. And I remember you were pregnant.
Yes.
Eliana, your firstborn.
Yes.
And like I printed that page out and then I sent it to you on a postcard asking you if you were gassy. And I think you put it on your fridge.
Yes, I did. And I was like, yes, I am gassy.
I was also thinking about how even though like our time with your family, it's like so brief. It's like whenever I get to hang out with your girls, like one, like I just see the sisterhood and it's like, oh my gosh, first it reminds me of me and Julie. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I have to have 2 daughters. Before I die, I don't know where I'm going to get them. I need to have 2 daughters. And it's so funny because when I hang out with your girls, like I see these little glimpses of you. They just kill me. Like I think about that one video you sent with Eliana, your oldest. It was like, I think James was hungover. And she was like interrogating him. She's like, Dad, why do you keep drinking that alcohol? It makes you feel terrible. Why do you keep drinking the alcohol? James is like, just like, stop talking. Right?
I know exactly what video you're talking about. He was passed out on the floor. And this is after a wedding. And she kept on saying like, he had too many iced yates.
Iced yates?
Yeah, too much iced yates. At the alcohols, and she was saying alcohols. Yeah, still a problem.
Do you know, to this day, Brendan and I still say those words. Aww. It's like the next day, like after we drink, if one of us doesn't feel good, it's like, babe, why you be drinking that alcohol? It was totally inspired by her.
Oh my goodness. I love that. Oh. Wait, I don't think I ever told you. So there's a big gap between Amaris and Isaiah because we had tried for a third, but then it didn't happen. I was kind of like back and forth about it. Back and forth of whether or not I wanted to have a third or maybe we were done after 2. And one of the deciding factors, I don't think you ever knew, was that you told me once that you and Julie were driving your brother to the airport to drop him off, and you were never so thankful to have 3 siblings or 3 kids in your family you were never more thankful until that moment, because Julie was able to go in with your brother while you drove around the airport and like waited, and she had to make sure he was like, to see him off, to say goodbye, and you were able to drive around the airport because there was no parking, and then Julie was able to come out and go back in the car with you. Do you remember that?
I remember that now that you're bringing it up. I can't believe you just painted that picture for me.
Yeah. So like in my decision to want to have 3 children, that was one of the thoughts that came in my head. Like, that would be nice for them to have each other later on. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy that such a specific moment played a factor in this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, because your brother was going, was he going overseas?
I think like maybe he was going to Iraq, or like he was.
Yeah. Somewhere where like
in the military.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we have the same dynamic as you guys.
Oh my god.
2 girls and a boy. So thanks for encouraging us to have a child.
One thing that I did want to ask you was, when in preparation for this video, and when I first asked you if you'd do this with me, you did mention like the timing of my asking you, because you had just shared your testimony at church, and you felt like you were in a season of your life where you want to kind of talk about, share your faith with more people, but that's to the extent that I know. So can you like put some meat on those bones that I have?
Boy. Okay. So that's why I mentioned to you that looking back on leading small group and leading missions trips and doing all these leadership things at church, I don't really feel like I started my walk with Christ until like maybe this past summer. And I don't know if I was truly saved until this past summer. And it wasn't, and I feel like maybe it's because you and I, we went to a pretty charismatic church where it was like largely built on emotional, on like how you felt during worship, or like, lifting your hands, which is all fine and good. But I think that I skipped over the head knowledge that I needed to have, which I started to build on just by reading directly from the Word, reading the Bible. And I started this plan, which is called the Bible Recap Plan. Have you heard it?
No, but I was just going to ask you to recommend some resources, maybe after this video, because I want to know what you're doing.
Okay. Yeah. About a year ago, I thought about the idea of homeschooling my kids. And not that we had any bad experiences in public school at all. It wasn't about that. It's just the idea came up, and it came up in a very strange place. It was an older lady at our church that we go to now saying, I wish if I had gone back, I wish I could have just homeschooled my kids. And so I was like, and in this area, we're in New York, in Queens, you don't really find that many people who homeschool. Mm-hmm. A lot of parents kind of like move based on public schools and where the good schools are and, the good programs. And so homeschooling is not common at all where we are. So I just started researching this Christian curriculum. It's called Classical Conversations, and just doing some research, but I was like, I don't know if I could do it, have 3 at home all day long. And, it's a huge task to take on. I was pregnant at the time, and I'm like, I don't know if I could handle like a newborn, and, my kids they're not sometimes, and so it's like I need me time too. Mm-hmm. I don't, how indecisive I am. I can't really decide about things because I factor in way too many things. And James was kind of like, either way, whatever you want to do, it's fine, because there's nothing wrong with public school. There's nothing better or worse. I just started reading the Bible, and I just started praying, I just need wisdom and discernment. And I came upon one verse. Do you want me to tell you?
Yes.
It was Isaiah 41:10. Oh, and I was reading Isaiah because I was like, if I'm going to name my son Isaiah, I should know what his name means. Or like I should know that book, right? Because James decided on his name. And so it was Isaiah 41:10, and it said that, I don't even know where it is. It says, fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will help you, and I will lift you up with my righteous right hand. Something like that. That isn't the exact wording. But when I read that, while I was trying to figure out if I should homeschool or not, like this ridiculous amount of peace just came in over me. And I was like, I feel like this is God. And so I told James, and I guess this is a side note, is like his response was my realization how important marriage is and how edifying marriage can be. And James said, God spoke, hallelujah. And so he's like, I feel like that's it. And I was like, oh, you think so, really? And so we sent in our letter of intent to the city, and we're like, we're going to homeschool. As soon as I did that, this crazy amount of fear just overcame me. The fear of, I'm not good enough for my kids. I'm not going to be able to meet the standards of all the, the gifted programs in the school. And they're not going to be up to par with all the kids. But I think that's what happens. I think when we decide to obey, and I think, you get attacked right away, which is what happened, when Jesus was baptized. Right away, he went into the wilderness and he was tested. So we had to overcome that. And so James and I were praying and reading a lot. And James was encouraging me that the Bible is like the living word of God. And so you can read it as if God's talking to you. And so we would read the Psalms together and, just hear God, calm all of our fears. And so day by day, all the fears just started to go away. The first month of homeschooling was hard because it's a transition, I still have guilt every day. Like, they don't get to see their friends, and they don't get to, go to the playground and go to recess and, do little things that we got to do growing up. Yeah, like Eliana would say, I miss my friends. I think I want to go back to school. And, she was resistant at first. And Isaiah has been the most terrible sleeper. He didn't sleep through the night till this week. And finally he sleeps through the night. And so God has been showing me, he's been sending very sweet moments to me. So we joined a co-op, a community where we meet with them every Monday, and we co-teach our kids together. It's about 15 kids, and all the moms are, like-minded, and we're doing this alongside one another, and we kind of commiserate together or encourage each other. And it's such a good part of the week. And that's how we start the new content of our week every Monday. We, the fellow moms teach all the kids together the new content. And it's a very interesting curriculum too. I'll go into that, later if you want, but it's just, there's so many sweet moments where God has been affirming our decision. I don't know if we're going to do it long term, but we're going to do it for this year and see what happens. And I think I've come to know that homeschooling I thought initially it was going to be about giving them the best education, but what it ended up doing was leading me closer to Christ. And I think that's where the glorification comes. He's glorified because we decided to obey, and not in the way that we thought he'd be glorified. It's just now that I can stand and say I am saved, and I don't think I could have ever said that before. So it's been really good. Yeah. And it's hard. My days are long, and James has been going to the apartment. We bought a new apartment that we haven't moved into yet. But, so it's me with the 3 kids, all day. He doesn't come home till 11 or 12 at night. And so I've really had to rely on his grace and accept his grace, and it's so real. And that's it oozes out of me now. I know this is I can be, my faith is in good soil. It's not on rocks where it's going to just, yeah.
I'm just trying to soak everything in right now. And it's crazy to hear that before you couldn't confidently say that you weren't saved, because you have been one of the most inspirational people to me in terms of me coming to my faith as well. You and Jess, you guys have been such a quiet force. And what I mean by that is, I think just watching you live out in different seasons of your life. I remember when you and James were dating, and you guys didn't know, and you'd been dating for a while, and you didn't know when you guys would get married, even though that's something that you knew. And you were like, I'm trusting and I'm sticking it through. And I remember just watching you in awe of that and doing it so lovingly. And I still remember the day that he proposed to you, you didn't expect it. I remember you were cranky, right? Didn't he take you to a vineyard or something?
Yes. And there were bugs in my dress.
you were just so not expecting. It was like after like, man, like 7 years you guys were dating or something, right?
Yeah. It was
And
8
I remember
years. Yep.
you guys, you asking us to pray for you, you know, that you're trusting God and you feel like this is the man you're supposed to be with. And even the way that James came to Christ through you. And then I remember, and I won't go into detail, but I remember some of the tougher times that you were facing and you just remaining so like just full trust. And it wasn't like, oh, everything's great. It's like, no, it's hard and I still trust you. And like, that's what I remember about you and like the way that you raise your kids and the way that you show up in your marriage. And so to hear you say that you actually feel like you had another transformation or that you were born again in some sense just a year ago, that brings it to like another level that I think I'm still trying to comprehend right now.
I could see how you would think that too. And maybe like, you know, God had started his, you know, obviously God has work in us. He was already working with me, but I feel like he knew me and I didn't know him. I didn't know him until now. And one of the things that James said to me that sparked this thought was, you know, it says in the Gospels, when you go to the gates of heaven, you know, Jesus was like, not all of the people who come are going to come and I will say, I knew you. Some of them I'm going to say, I didn't know you. And so James challenged me one day and said, you know, do you think that he would say that he knew you? Or will he say he never knew you? And I was like, oh, crap. You know, like, when was the last time I actually read or genuinely, you know, like, I can think of a million excuses, motherhood, you know, just I'm tired or whatever. But
yeah,
in light of eternity, none of this really matters. And so I guess that kind of fear had to be brought into me for me to really seek. And also the decision of my treasures, you know, my kids, I had to make this strong decision about them. Maybe jumping in and diving into something so big and beyond myself is what it took for me to, yeah. I mean, yeah, you can say we had difficult times in our marriage. We had really hard times. And I had a difficult time with my parents too. And so I feel like there was a huge part of my life where maybe God was, you know, present, or I had some sort of faith, but not to the extent of what it is now. A lot of things mean just crazy, like, you know, songs that we used to sing, they have totally new meaning now.
New meaning now.
Oh yeah, like, or verses that we grew up knowing, like they mean totally different things now.
I think I selfishly just want to know, because I've always been like, I want to read the Bible, you know? And I've had seasons of my life where like I'll follow a plan and I'll do it out of like the discipline, but it's not like, oh, I'm gonna wake up and I wonder what he wants to say to me today. Like, I want that, and I see that from you right now.
Yes, it's like, you know, we used to sing that song, we are hungry, we are thirsty for more. Like, that's truly how I feel right now, because like I just want to, like, my Bible's right here, like I just want to like read it all day. Like, tell my kids to just go away. But there's I found really good resources though, so yeah, that explains. Can you please
share them with me?
Yeah, of course. That explains the gift that I gave you that you can't use, because I just my brain's.
It's stored. The note. So Kim
you can just re-gift it.
No. I was gonna ask you, Isaiah 41:10. Is that the necklace? It is, right?
No, your necklace is Isaiah 43:2. I have it on my mirror too.
Okay. So Kim gifted me this necklace with the Bible verse, and then she realized after she sent it that I can't wear it because of my allergy to metal. But hey, that's totally okay. It serves as a token of love. I don't have to have it on my body. In your note, it was like, this is my prayer for you.
Yeah, because, you know, above the waves, when I read this, I thought of you immediately, because it was about, you know, what was it? It's about passing through the waters and going through the rivers and not being overwhelmed by anything. But you guys are above the waves. Is that corny?
No, it's not corny at all. And in fact, what you said earlier about like you stepping into something that's so scary and so much bigger than yourself, and knowing that like God will meet you there, it got me thinking about myself too, in the sense where I think the obedience that you were referring to, that was me and Brandon like packing up and moving here. And I
Yeah.
think last year was probably one of the hardest years I've ever had. I needed to take some time off of being on YouTube, and I just wasn't ready to share to the extent of it. And even now, like, oh my gosh, like I can't even look at my second channel, my Above the Waves channel, and like the 30 days of me trying to document like what it's like for me to deal with my anxiety. Like I can't even look at that right now. Like it's still too close to me. Right now, I've kind of put a pin in like, you know, we haven't been pushing the coaching thing or like talking about it a ton because I think I needed to I felt like I was drowning. I was drowning under my own expectations. And like, I still kind of struggle with this guilt where I feel like God was supposed to meet me in this space and I stepped out in faith and it's like, oh, never mind. Like, let me just draw back real quick. I feel like I just need to get out there in the water again. But like during this time before I get back into the ocean, I feel like God has allowed me to do this with you. And to like this series too, the way that it was born in my heart, like I hadn't felt excitement for creating something in such a long time, Kim. Maybe like 3 years, like when I first started morning chats, and I was so excited.
Oh, morning chats. I loved morning chats. I secretly wanted to be a guest on morning chats. I never told you that. I did.
How
but I would have been the guest because like, hey Jen, can I be on your YouTube channel?
Listen, if you Tourette's did that to me,
that's true,
I would have flown you to Korea to do it with. Like,
that's gonna be like our verb now. If you Tourette's that to me.
If you Tourette's that to me, I love it. Yes.
Girl, I used to watch you religiously. You filmed, or what was it? Oh, my brain. You published every Monday, or you filmed every Monday?
I filmed and published every Monday.
Sunday.
I want to talk about this out loud with you because I would love your perspective on this. Like, sometimes when I look at the sticker on my water bottle, I'm like, am I living out what God called me to do here, you know? And it's like, for me, it was like, I'm supposed to have like this thriving coaching business and to be able to help all these women, and I'm still trying to help myself. I think I finally got to a place where it doesn't feel selfish anymore. Before it did for a long time. It felt really, really selfish. And I think in so many ways, like God is affirming the fact that like, hey, this time that you're taking to do this or to read all the books and go to yoga and be so joyful about the little things, I really do believe it's God-given 100%. But I still have like my self-guilt. And I wonder if that's something that you've kind of gone through as well in terms of like homeschooling and what you do to remind yourself that you are exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I might say that right now I feel closer to Christ, but I still go through the same struggle every single day. Like I still have the fears and the lies that seep in. And it could be through people too. Like in the closest places, I'll have people who don't encourage me or who say things over family dinner, and say like, oh, they're missing out a lot. Or like, you know, how could you take that away from them? Aren't they going to be weird? James likes to play this game called Spot the Lie. I think I do that. I have to spot the lie, and I have to tell myself that just obey, and God's spoken, we are obeying. And it's kind of like, it doesn't seem black and white in the day-to-day moments, but it is black and white. Like going back to that moment where I felt that overwhelming peace come over me over this decision to do what we're doing. It gets me through that moment of someone criticizing me or my own guilt, you know, seeping in, because we're humans, we're sinful. And so like lies will come in through our own minds, and lies will come in through outside sources too. Once I get through that moment, I really, not every time, but there's such sweet moments that come if you just have the eyes to see. I'll have such great conversations with my kids now about just everything. Like we were having a play date with one of Amaris's preschool friends. I was having one of those rough days where it was just like the kids weren't listening, nothing was going right. I was going on very little sleep, and we went to the playground to go play, and Amaris comes up to the girl's mom who I was talking to while they were playing. She goes up and she goes, do you know Jesus? to the and she and the mom was like, and then Amaris looked at her friend, her playmate, and was like, does she know Jesus? And then the mom was like, well, no, but you can tell her about him if you want to. Like, there's just little openings and little really sweet moments that I think God places to just be like, don't worry, kind of thing. And I don't know if that's I don't know if that's the right advice to give you, but I guess just hanging on to those moments where I knew God was real and it was so clear, just going back to that moment, and it helps me get through the really tough moments, I guess.
Oh, that's so good. I wouldn't even say that it's advice, but I think what you shared is so transferable and applicable to my life and others as well. And I think, yeah, you're right. It is in those like little nuggets where it's like, he's like, yes, keep going.
Yeah.
This is where I want you to be. And it's those reminders that for me too, like when I do keep my eyes open for them, they are so sweet.
Yes.
And for me, it could come in the form of like an email or a friend that's like this series, like I can't emphasize like how magical it's been, because even some of the people that I've asked, I kind of asked like thinking, oh, this person might say no for various reasons, but it's like, oh my gosh, yes. And I'm so honored to be a part of it, or like the timing of you asking me and what I'm going through in my own life. Yes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is how I know it's a God thing. It's not like, ooh, another thing for views on YouTube. Like this is not that.
Yeah. Oh, and then another reason why I said this is like divine timing was because for a long time, not many people know that we homeschool. And I have a problem with sharing on social media because I have a problem with my heart. Like I feel like I'm showing off sometimes, and I don't want to do that. And so like sometimes I'll like start to post and be like, oh, we decided to homeschool. And I'm like, but why am I really doing that? So like I check myself, and like I don't ever feel like I'm in the right place to post anything. And so the fact that you asked me, I was like, she's like basically gonna put this for the, and then James was like, she's immortalizing you. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But that's why I was like, this is crazy. Like I had, I was going through that thought process in my head, but then you just asked me and I was like, sure, I would do, do anything.
That's wild. See, I had no idea when I asked you to.
No, you didn't.
You were just, duh, Kim, I have to. I'm like, oh man, is she going to feel like she's going to be awkward? Like those were the concerns that I had. But I see, I love your courage in like being like, okay, let's do this. So the fact that you're doing this like on my channel and like opening this up to people that you don't even know, and I know how terrifying that is. Way to go, Kim.
Stop. I was, of course, I was also like, yes, you're excited about YouTube again. Let's do something. Let's, I want to be a part of that. Thank you for asking me to be a part of that. Yeah, I was genuinely just happy that you were excited for it.
Oh. Do you have your notebook or journaling tool next to you?
Yeah, I do. Do you recognize it? I realized you got me this.
What?
Yes, you got me this from Korea when you first came back to visit. Just FYI. You gave me 2 pens, like 4 books, and a very small Tabasco t-shirt or tank top.
Wow, you still have that notebook?
Yeah, I saved it. Like, I saved it for like the right reason. And so I just started using it. It's crazy. I'm telling you, all this timing is ridiculous.
You have an 8-year-old notebook. You saved it for 8 years. What did you decide to use it on?
Oh, on this new Bible study thing that I started journaling a different way. Before you even asked me, like you had told me nothing, and I had just started maybe like a month ago. So
this is that moment for me where you're like, when God reminds you, and it's so sweet. Right now, it's happening. Yeah. I had no idea all the behind the scenes of you saying yes to this. Oh my gosh. Okay, so for this portion of the video, we are going to journal together. I have my 5-minute journal. Kim, I'm going to give you the prompts. It's really simple. 3 things you're grateful for, 3 things you're going to do to make the day great, and 1 daily affirmation. For those of you watching, I hope that you'll take a moment to grab your journals too and do this exercise with us. If you don't have the 5-minute journal, you can just grab any piece of paper or whatever journal you do have. And if you'd like to do it digitally, I do have the template in the description box down below that you can copy and paste over. Or if you want, you could even leave it for us in the comment box, and I'd love to read that. Can you share 3 things that you are grateful for today?
This is really like, this sounds lame, but this.
Why is that lame? This is the best.
Because this is such a gift. Like, my days are long, and like, you know, I talk to a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old and a 9-month-old. So this is truly a gift. So number 2, we are in an interesting time where we're renovating our new apartment, but we closed in January. So it's been 11 months, which is ridiculous that we've been paying. Our contractor last month basically bailed on us with only a few things left to do. He was fully paid, and he kind of just bailed and never finished. Our mistake as first-time renovating homeowners is that we shouldn't have paid in full, and we should have probably waited. But we are trying to see why God has extended this time for us to stay in this area. To give you guys like an idea of where we are, it's a basement in a 1-bedroom apartment, and it's, you know, we're outgrowing it and we're homeschooling, so it feels very crammed really quickly, and so it doesn't seem like the most ideal place to be in. But we're trying to see the reason for it. So I'm trying to find reasons every day to be grateful for it being here in this moment. And one of them is that, so it's 1 bedroom, but Isaiah wasn't sleeping through the night because he would wake up in the middle of the night and he would see me and he would just scream at my face. So me and the girls, now we do like campouts in the living room. So the boss baby has the room all to himself.
Whoa.
And we are slumber partying it up on the floor. And every night we just kind of have fun, and like we all sleep on the floor together. So it's nice.
Oh my God.
It's unconventional, but it's fun.
That sounds really fun. Do you build forts?
Yeah, and we get to watch movies at night. It's fun. They love it.
These are the things that they're going to remember, Kim.
Oh, I hope so. I hope they remember this. My third is just is this in conjunction with the timing, like I told you, like God's timing is really perfect and not at all what I would have ever thought of, but it's so sweet when it comes around, because it's not our own ability to, you know, construct all these or orchestrate the way our lives pan out. I mean, your channel, it's like, I would have never put in Jenn's YouTube channel into like my part of my testimony or like how I can share, you know?
So then I'll go ahead and share mine, because that's a nice segue into that. But number 1 was reliving memories that I've completely forgotten about. Like what you told me about me and why I was so thankful to have my brother and my sister. Like that was crazy. And you illustrating the whole airport scene to me.
Yeah.
This has been such a wonderful way for me to start my day. Because for me, it's 8 a.m. here in Hawaii, and connecting with you and also like remembering all that God's done in my life and in your life. What a day. What a way to start my day. Like this is like such a great like primer into like everything else that I'm going to do for the rest of my day. So that's number 2 for me. And then number 3, I wrote Costco. I'm really thankful for Costco. So what are the 3 things you're going to do to make your day great, Kim?
Okay. I don't want to come off preachy, and I hope I'm not coming off preachy, because I know what that feels like, to feel judged and whatever. But like, I have been really reflecting on this one verse, and I'm going to read it. Okay. So it says, "Take care then how you hear, for to the one who has, more will be given, and from the one who has not, even what he thinks that he has will be taken away." And so I've read that before, and that's in Luke 8:18. It doesn't mean what we think it sounds like, you know, whatever you have, you'll be given more, like, you know, materialistic things or wealth. But it's referencing the word, and it's referencing God and being tethered to the word. So take care then how you hear, for to the one who has more, the one who is in deeper understanding of God and is tethered to God will be given more. The one that thinks that he has, it will be taken away. Because if I'm not tethered, if I don't stay daily reading and studying and being with God, then it will so easily just fade. And I'm afraid of that. Like, I want to feel like this forever, and I don't want to become disconnected. So that's what I want to do to make my day great. One of the things that I realized helps me is that I just keep my Bible on the table next to me while I'm teaching the girls, and I'll just glance at different things that I'm studying, and it'll just be right next to me. So.
That's it. So good. I like your practical application of like how you, this humility of, oh my gosh, this is hard, but it's so good. And here's what I can do to remind myself of that goodness. And even in the way that you share it, it's like, hey, this is what I do. I'm not going to shove it down your throat. This is what I do. And
Right.
It's been lovely. And I love that. I'm like hanging on your every word, Kim. And I just want you to
Jenn.
keep telling me your experiences. No, I'm serious. And I'm so thankful right now that you're open to doing this, that you would talk about this on a public platform where like God knows who's watching, really, you know?
Yeah, like it's a little scary.
It's so good.
I guess that leads to my affirmation though, for both you and I. And it is scripture. Like it's something that I'm trying to tell myself and is resonating with what you're saying to me. And that is that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And we have to remember that.
Amen. Okay, for me, what I'm going to do to make my day great is I'm going to fully enjoy my errand day. And you know what's funny? Like when we first moved to Korea, I was like, babe, we're both working from home now. Like I wanted us to run errands together as like a couples activity. Mm-hmm. That lasted for like maybe 6 months. And then afterwards, he was like, oh, I don't want to go to Costco and Target anymore. And like in the beginning, I was kind of like, oh, why do I have to do it? You know?
Yeah.
And now we have this really good rhythm where I actually really look forward to it, because when I go, like I'm on a mission. I'm not like dilly-dallying. I go in with lists. They're organized in the way that the aisles are set up. So it's like boom, 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 boom. And it's almost like I play a game with myself, like how quickly I can come home. So I have this whole route with Costco and Target.
I love that about you.
And then that's also the time where, you know, I listen to music or podcasts, and it's like my own little me time that I've converted it to. Mm-hmm. Number 2, today is the day that I write and put the final bow on my weekly newsletter, which you should sign up for if you like this video series and you're not signed up yet. Every Fridays, I share 5 things that I've appreciated, enjoyed, or discovered in a given week. And they range anywhere from like, they're just so random, right, Kim?
Mm-hmm. No, they are. Like they could be like an Amazon like kitchen like tool that you used, or like a friend that you met.
Yes. Yeah.
Or like yoga.
Lots of yoga. No. Yeah, it's just like a reflection of my week and just kind of counting my blessings. And then the last thing is my sister's getting married in April, and we've been hopping on a video call every week because I'm the matron of honor and I'm helping her plan. Nice. So it's just like a little check-in, also an excuse for me to like catch up with my sister, because she's so not like a texty phone person. So, I mean, I kind of like purposely did it like that, where I'm like, hey, do you want to do a weekly call? And she's like, okay. I'm like, I'll help you with wedding planning, but really I just want to know what's going on with you. My daily affirmation is, I am becoming my true God-given self, regardless of the expectations hammered into me.
Do you mind that she's there?
No, I don't. I'm wondering if you wanted to talk to her. So before we wrap up, I wanted Kim to share some of her resources in terms of whether it's the Bible plan that you're using, or I'm just going to open up the floor to you.
One of the really great things about homeschooling is that we get to start our day with quiet time every day together, me and the girls. And so we're eating breakfast, I'm having my coffee, and then, you know, we've been trying to memorize scripture. So I got one of these things at Target, which was like 99 cents. It's like one of those, you know, index card sized things. And so every day we like go through different Bible verses, and we add every day. And so their memories are amazing. They've been able to memorize so many things, but like the ones that we, you know, that are funny to them are like, children, obey your parents because you belong to the Lord. So like they laugh when they hear those, but like we're trying to teach them that, you know, we are sinners and that we need to confess our sins. So like, you know, each verse kind of has a meaning and we talk about it. And so like one of them is like, I confess my sins. I'm deeply sorry for what I've done. And like, there's so much goodness in the Bible that like I didn't realize was there. Or like when
there's so many teachable moments during the day, and like there's certain shows that we don't let them watch, and so we're like, you know, they ask why, and then we say like they're not edifying, so like we'll pull out the scripture and be like, you know, let nothing foul or dirty come out of your mouth, and let every word be a gift. And it's like we just refer to it, and it's I've been reading this book by Paul Tripp called 14 Gospel Principles of Parenthood. It's been mind-blowing. And it's on my Kindle, so I don't have the actual book. I'll send you the link to.
Okay, and I'll link it in the description box.
But if you're a parent, like I would 100% like recommend this book to every parent, even if you're not a parent. It's very eye-opening about who we are in light of God, and you know how like we are in such need of grace, and so it helps us as parents shepherd our children because we're in such need of grace. We extend that grace onto them, and so like our parenting style has just transformed because of it. But for my own quiet time, like I started doing this thing called Bible recap. Every day, I don't know if you could see it, like it tells you what to read. And so these are for the New Testament. And like I'll just check off every day that I get. It's supposed to be like every day, but like I don't get to it every day. And so I just check it off when I can, you know, before I go to bed, or like I just read that one chapter. It's doable. What I use your journal for is I started doing this thing where I write down scripture that speaks to me, but I use different colors. So I started praying for my husband, and when I find scripture that could be applicable to him, I'll write it in red. If I find something that's applicable to myself, I'll write it in blue. If it's something that is a prayer for someone like outside of our family, I'll do black, and then for the girls, I'll do green. And so like It helps me, like when I'm praying, I read it, and I read the scripture, and I read just those colors to pray for that specific person. You know, I think it's fine to just pray casually and let the words just flow, but I feel like there's such power in the word that, you know, it's there as a tool for us to use. One thing that has helped me actually, because James and I, you know, we did go through a hard season in our marriage, and I have this book, The Power of a Praying Wife. And this was actually gifted by our old pastor's wife when we got married to me. But there's a prayer in here for it's categorized into different parts of your husband. So the chapters are labeled his work, his finances, his sexuality, his affection, his temptations, his mind, his fears. And so I just picked out the ones that were applicable to James. And so and it actually guides you through, like, you know, how to pray for him. And so like just reading it and like soaking in the words, it just helps me, because it's hard for me to just pray on my own. Those are my main things right now that are helping me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I will link everything down below. Kim, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day today to film with me and to share so much about your life.
It meant more to me than you realized. It really did.
Girl. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. If you guys have any questions for Kim, please leave them down below in the comment box, and I'll get back to you on behalf of Kim. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.